Welcome back, everybody. Here we go again. This time around, I got a another Scorpion style helmet. This client right here saw my YouTube channel, liked this one here to the lower left corner, but he wanted something more his own style. So he went ahead and bought a brand new helmet right from the factory, had it shipped directly to my shop. Check it out, make sure it's not damaged box, everything's there, everything's good to go, and start working on it. So look it over, take off all the stickers, anything that can come off with a razor blade or a putty knife, and just start unscrewing everything. Well, and for me, this is very important. I like to lay out all my nuts, screws, everything, put them back in the original holes, put some tape on it to kind of hold it in place, and put everything back in the bag and the box and kind of store it away. I don't want to have any guesswork when I kind of put this thing back together. The visor, I really can't take that out, so I tape it up front side and back side. And that right there are like these little spacers, so when I shove it up in there, it kind of pops it away, so I can get clear up underneath there when I do my final coats of clear. All taped up, ready to go. And really simple, just take some 500 grit sandpaper. I just put on a back piece of like gray Scotch-Brite so I can get a curve good. And I just scuff it all up, make sure I get my edges all around the top and bottom, all around the lips. Then I hit it with a gray Scotch-Brite to smooth that out. Then I go ahead and hit it with some cleaner and start chalking it out. So what I do is just start Googling pictures. And this is what comes up. I like everything, looks pretty good. And I start just using those ideas for the helmet. So chalk it out, airbrush it up a little bit, just kind of get some guidelines. Take the face shield and spray that white for a base for the red. And I just start tweaking things out. I didn't like the way that little cut was there or here. I'm just kind of reimagining things. Trying to get my center line a little bit better. I was off, so I try to get a little bit better. Tape up the whole face piece, and I start doing just like what you saw from the references. The big old teeth come out the top, spray it red, looks pretty good to me. Just something about it, just, I don't know, just bugged the crap out of me. So, luckily, right down the street, the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, perfect time. They had an exhibit, yeah. So I just samurai exhibit, there, just my luck, right? And I was noticing on all the masks, none of them had tusks coming out or fangs or anything. A lot of them had mustaches. Mustaches, facial hair is a significant thing when it comes to samurai warriors. Didn't really know that because everything I was looking at on Google is basically like tattoo versions or just fantasy renderings of helmets and masks. So I was going off of someone else's artwork to do another artwork, and it was just kind of getting off course. So basically everything in here is 100% real. See another mustache right there. And all the stitch work, and didn't really notice that on those Google images, and all these knots mean something. Everything means something, all these samurais. And because of the exhibit, I never even knew that they were dragon heads mounted on horses. It's crazy. Anyway, all right, so back to work. Here we go. Get back to the shop. I start really figuring things out, start filling in everything. As you can see, start tightening up the top and really just start to detail everything. All right, here's my problem. All these helmets are like either black or dark red or something. I wasn't just going to go ahead and spray this top piece black and do a little few highlights like I did right here. I wanted to detail it more. So I just went ahead and took some, tack rag right there and dusted through it. And I did it all these different angles, like the angles of the helmet, the way it was pieced together on top. So I start getting that as a texture. All this stuff right here is just texture, background texture for the work on top. It's better to do something like this than just have a bunch of just highlights and shadows and nothing really is. So after I take some time, tape it all up, separate the top so they all look individuals. And I go ahead and put a little highlight on there so it kind of pops a little bit. But a lot of this is going to be covered up anyway. Then I go ahead and a little trick I do is I just airbrush a little dot for where I want to put a rivet. And then after I kind of get placement with my eye, I go ahead and get a stencil and lay the stencil down and then start laying it down correctly. So instead of me just willy-nilly just putting it on there and not knowing what I'm doing, I have a reference line. Put little highlights, little shadows, kind of put a little depth below it so it makes it look like that rivet's standing out. And I taped up the horns for two reasons. Really, the first reason is just to know where the heck the horns are going, so I kind of like really defined them a lot better there. And also I can kind of see what they are after I'm done, you know, so no point airbrushing an area that's going to be covered up. Pretty much doing the same thing on the back like I did the top of the helmet, putting down my guidelines, just kind of laid it in there, getting a little bit of white for a base on there so I can get a little bit of lighter color. And then I just started getting some texture on there, so I'm just taking like an airbrush stencil of just weird shapes, laying it on there. Like I said at the top, it's just background imagery. This is nothing really of importance, but at least it gives it something to look at. Highlight the top of each one of those neck covers, little light thing there. And then I went ahead and just started detailing a little bit more. I made sure it was like a thick edge. More or less a guide for something later on. This right here is clear transfer tape for like doing vinyl lettering. I use it as a stencil, and since it's see-through, I can kind of see where I'm putting on the helmet. And each one of those is the exact same size, so all my laces, which these look like shoelaces that are holding all those panels on the back of the helmet together, kind of everything's structured the same. A little bit more busy work, kind of taping it off so I can get a beveled edge in, as you can see right there. And just adding some gold to it, the tassels off the back where the knot is. I just keep working them a little bit more. And kind of going back and forth, cleaning up, seeing what's left, see what looks good. Add my shadows on, things like that to make them really pop. Alright, this is the portal at the top of the head. This is literally a chimney that goes on top of the head to let the heat from your head out. That's what I was told. And so I'm just kind of working it up. So I really didn't know what I was doing on these side pieces. I was just kind of guesstimating something cool. I knew I wanted to put like a medallion right there. And I was thinking of stripes, like tiger stripes, because he was born the year of the tiger. So I want to incorporate a tiger thing to the sides. It just wasn't really doing it for me, so I kind of just skipped it. Went on to the horn, started to put the glue down. This glue, you put it down, it's sizing glue, basically liquid glue. You put it on, let it sit for a good hour, and then lay down your gold. All right, the next step is the 23 karat gold leaf. Lock your front door, go ahead and cut your cell phone off, you know, cut off any fans because this stuff will blow away. You don't want to be distracted when you're doing this, just get this stuff done, get it over with. And it is 23 karat gold, be careful with it. Don't let it fall on the floor and just kick it around. It's real gold. After I laid it all out, I go ahead and just take a brush and just wipe off the excess around the edges. Right there's a little prep cleaner, and I literally just kind of wipe down the edges with my finger right there. This is how easy it comes off. It's just kind of laid on there on top. Because it's so fragile, I go ahead and put a coat of clear over the whole helmet. Because if I don't, and I go ahead and put like some tape on top to do it like a tape line with some airbrush work, I can peel that right off. So let it sit a good day, sand it on down like a normal paint job. And now I'm going to start detailing the horns and the center emblem. And I'm starting to add some shadow to it, going to put some cracks in it, just kind of start to really tweak it out and tighten it up. Alright, he is also, his last name is Wolf. So, in order to go ahead and give it even more of a personality, I went ahead and got his name, Wolf, in Japanese. That's what it is right there. Put it on with some vinyl, peeled it off, stuck it on, and did a little dusting of black around, just real light, and then I started shadowing that whole center emblem. And just to make it more so, I just distress it by doing that. I just take some, you know, what is that, 500 grit sandpaper, put a few scratches in to make it look like it's worn out. Turned out pretty well. Alright, center emblem, the chimney or whatever I want to call it, same thing. Take some carbon paper and start outlining it and try to make it more defined. Yeah, my brushes look crappy, but I don't want it to be perfect looking, so I'm just kind of doing what I'm doing. And I'm just still trying to figure this out. So here I go with those, and I'm like, no, I didn't like those. Wipe those down and redo the whole thing again. And I'm just trying to really just jazz it up. Because at this point, I kind of know where everything's going, how it's going to work out. I'm just trying to really detail it and make it pop even more. So like earlier, didn't really care for the whole tiger look, so I'm going to cover them up. I went ahead and put some gold sizing on it, and because it was already cleared, I couldn't take it off. And just put some gold on there and let it sit. And on the back here, remember those white lines I did? Well, I went ahead and brushed over with a little bit of gold, and I started detailing out. Let the sides sit. After I clear them, now I'll start adding some more detail. The sides, I'm trying to do something a little different. I'm going to put a little bit of tape and make some little vines in there. But instead of me cutting out every little thing, I'm literally taking a paintbrush and using really compound, just buffing compound. I'm painting with that. So I'm just kind of adding all these weird details and everything. I'm not reducing my black in the paintbrush, so I'm going to have it kind of gritty coming out. But I'm doing a wolf on the side as an emblem for his last name. Kind of tweaking it out. It looks weird, but trust me, it'll start looking better. That was my other side. I already did it, so I'm using that as my control. This is my secondary. All right, see how that looks? Okay, cool. And I'm just kind of trying to rework it. So once I get it to the point I like, do a few more little details, get my airbrush gun out, and you can see it's kind of specky looking. Did that on purpose. I did it kind of dry because I just want it to look aged. And once I'm done with it, just start unpeeling it. And there's a good luck logo right there. And just wipe it off because you're wiping off compound. And then I'll come back in and start detailing it out. Yeah, some things I didn't like, some things I did. But I'm leaving everything nice and clean as far as two colors, nothing else. Just black, reduced black, and that's it on top of the gold. Go ahead and put some scratch lines in it, put a little more detail into it. And I know that wolf looks weird, but that's what I was going off of, something from that time period. That's how they drew a wolf. So I'm kind of just doing it like that. And it looks pretty good. Just going back and forth, do a little scratch work. Trying to show off the gold in there so when the light hits it, it really pops. And as you can see, I redid the face shield. So didn't like it. Put a mustache on. Taped off the nose area. Put some shadowing around it to make it pop. And then I added some House of Color gold pearl to it. Just to make it pop in the sun. You can see that later on. Now that it's all cleared up and dried for a good day or so, pull everything back out the bag, and now it's going to be pretty easy since I taped everything off. I know where every nut and screw goes, so just basically putting it back together, real simple like. So from a basic black helmet with a lot of time, there you go, custom painted to what the customer wanted. House of Color, pinstriping, gold leaf, hand painting, airbrush, stencil work, references at the museum. I mean, it's a lot of everything in this thing. So basically it's a whole bunch of my styles and all in one thing. Yeah, pretty much on a side note, I gotta say, once I got the helmet in, I started working on it, and I don't know what happened to me. I just lost it. I just kind of got sluggish and tired and couldn't figure out what was going on with me. And yeah, I don't know. Felt kind of sick. You can see there's the gold in it. Anyway, but yeah, more of my problem with my health in the next video. And boy, I had a lot of fun stuff happen. Other than that, here you go, man. It's all done. There it is at the museum. Just kind of show a comparison. And yeah, turned out pretty good. And the red of the face was the kind of matchup with the red of his bike, and the gold matched up. So that's the whole thing right there. Yeah, he got it back, shipped it on out to him. Everything looked good and ready to go. Happy customer. Anyway, like, follow, subscribe, and, comment, see what you think. And I'll tell you more about my awesome health next video. Later.